Hey, welcome to Workout Wednesday. Chris from Divine Key, and I'm coming from a little bit different location today, if you can tell, but I wanted to make sure that I got you a video for Workout Wednesday. So today we're going to be talking about a question that comes in a lot with working with all the tools that I work with. So I work with intuitive tools like cards, oracle cards, tarot cards, runes, pendulums, spirit guides, and people ask whether or not, like, how can you trust that you're not influencing the answer? So, I mean, that's a really valid question because we want what we want. So we're using these tools to try to figure out our next step or where we're headed. I don't do future readings usually, but I do decision making with my tools, and that's part of the life coaching, right? When you're struggling with something, you're stuck, and you have these tools that you can use. Now, remember that all these tools are just whatever the item is. So cards are just ink and paper, and runes are just markings on a rock. I mean, they do not contain the power. The power is your connection to your source. So I'm going to sound like a broken record, but here it is. What you need to do is make sure that you connect to your source. And if you don't know what your source is, or if you don't know what you're connecting to, or if you don't know how to connect, that's the first step. Before you even go into any tools, you need to know that you're connecting to a source of energy that you trust and that is for the highest good. So a lot of people use different names for that. It could be called God or Gaia, Earth, the universe, cosmos, whatever. I like to use source or spirit as the word that I use for the connection that I make. And then the next step is always create a sacred space for yourself. So always, it can be as simple as taking a deep breath. And as you exhale, just feeling yourself connecting through the center of the earth up through to your source energy, and asking that only information needed and required right now for the highest good come through. That's all it is. That's all it really takes. You can do a lot more things, but if that's all the time you have, that's good enough. I also do the same thing with my tools. So today, since I'm in a remote location, I'm going to use my little Barbie cards. And it's kind of fun because, Barbie is real popular right now with the movie coming out. But I have these little mini tarot cards, and they are Barbie sized for sure. So I keep them in a little pouch with me at all times because I use intuition, tap into it often with my tools. So I also ask and clear the cards. I use Reiki, and I ask that only the energy for the highest good come through. So those things are the important pieces. So that's the first piece, right? Because if you're connecting to source, if you're connecting to something outside yourself, then that's where the trust comes in. So you have to trust your source. You have to trust what you're connecting to. If you do not trust what you're connecting to, A, you shouldn't be connecting to it, and B, you really need to spend time cultivating that muscle. You know what? Maybe I should do a video on that. That might be my next one, is how do you connect to source, because it's so darn important. So then once you connect to source, you concentrate on what it is you want guidance on. And it can be anything, quite honestly. It can be as simple, and it's really funny because people will be like, oh, these cards only have one meaning, but that's not true. That can mean anything. I can be like, should I have pizza for dinner tonight? It's a silly question. And, these tools do not always have to be serious. It's not like a divine, feminine, endowed, whatever. Like, it is just a tool to use. So I'm going to ask the question, should I have pizza for dinner tonight? And I'm going to reach into my bag randomly and just pick a card and see what comes out. And the card that comes out is the Knight of Wands, right? There it is, the Knight of Wands. So here is how it works. I could be like, so the basic meaning of the Knight of Wands is it's fast movement, and the Knight of Wands likes to seek things that are pleasurable, right? The whole wand suit is all about passion and pleasure. And here's an example. So if I'm dieting and I feel like pizza's a bad thing, I would be like, oh, well, Knight of Wands is saying that I shouldn't have pizza, but you can feel whether the energy is real. You can feel if your source is coming through. And if you have practice in using the tools, that helps as well. So the Knight of Wands is telling me, yeah, go for it. You know, dive in, go for what makes you happy. The Knight of Wands is all about, look, that's fun, I'm going to go over there. Look, that's fun, I'm going to go over there. The Knight of Wands is all about seeking pleasure. Seekers. Knights are seekers. So it says, yeah, go ahead and have that pizza for dinner if you want. And I'm not sure if that's a very good example of trusting whether it's yours or not. If we have these people in our lives who have told us things over the years, maybe when we were younger or when we got older, it doesn't matter. But we hear the phrase that they say. Like, it's not us telling us these things that make us feel bad. It's the people that we have come in contact with, our conscious, whatever. I will say that usually if it is something that feels bad, that not difficult, because sometimes it is hard to do what Source is asking you to do. It's not always easy, but if it feels like uncomfortable in the sense of it just doesn't feel right to you, that's probably a good indication that's not your message. So it really feels like in your gut instinct, like your gut, you feel this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm trying to figure out how else I can explain that you can trust what comes in. The other piece is that you just have to keep doing it, right? So this is a practice for a reason. As you practice it, you will begin to sense the difference between when you're influencing it, when you're changing the meaning of something to suit you, and when you're really receiving the message. A lot of times it's kind of funny because, like, I don't always like the messages that come in that I get. I used to pull a card every day and post it on Facebook. I did it for 2 years, every single day. And, I'd pull a card and it'd be death. And I'd be like, I don't want to write about death today, right? And I'd put it back in the deck and I would shuffle some more. And I'm like, okay, give me a card to talk about. And death would come out again. So often Source will repeat the message over and over so that it's coming from Source. And it can come in different forms. So like, I pull a card and it tells me something, and then I hear a lyric from a song, and when I turn the card on and it repeats that phrase that was in my head when I saw the card, and then I'm reading a book and the name of the person is repeated in the book, and like it just keeps showing up. Like, that is a very good indication that the message is coming from Source, because Source wants to do good by you. Source wants you to achieve things. Source wants whatever is best for you. So that is the indication. If it doesn't feel like it comes from love, which is how I really feel like Source is, then you're probably influencing it. If it feels hurtful and not helpful, that's another good indicator. Is this hurtful or helpful? And you can tell at that point. Like I said, it doesn't mean it's not hard for you to do. Source might be telling me I need to go walk for 3 miles every day. And that's really, really, really difficult for me. I have problems with my knees and my hips and my ankles, and walking's really, really hard. But if I get the message over and over that I need to exercise, that I need to walk, then it would benefit me to actually do that long term. Source would be leading me in that direction. So when you're pulling cards, it's funny. Some people take the bad cards out. Like, you won't pull death because they'll take death out of the deck, or the devil out of the deck. And that is so counter to what the purpose behind these tools is. You have to have the shadow part. You have to have both shadow and light. You have to have the shadow to understand these are the things that you're working on, or this is something to be aware of. It is not all sunshine and roses. It's important. It's important to leave everything in the deck. I mean, like, sometimes you can pull, if you want to focus on one thing, say you want to focus on just your physical wealth. So you'd pull Pentacles, and you pull cards in Pentacles and get a specific answer with that, but you're missing the bigger picture when you do that. So allow yourself to explore. Allow yourself to explore. Now, if you have specific questions, or if I don't feel like I really explained this well, But if you want more information, maybe we'll revisit this and look at other tools and see how they work. But for right now, for this Workout Wednesday, be open to the truth that's coming through for you and trust that it's meant to be for you. Oh, look, we got the Emperor. And that is, I like that. I can't get it to focus. There we go. The Emperor, which is step into your power. Don't be afraid to make the hard decisions. You know, it's not about pleasing everybody. The Emperor is 100% about stepping into your power, doing what you feel is right with the information you have at this moment. At this moment is the important piece. You can only decide with the information you have. Down the line, 10 years from now, you can't be like, oh, I wish I would have done this, because you didn't have the same information. So step into your power, be kind to yourself, and trust that you are making the correct decisions for you. I hope that helps. Be well. See you next week. Chris from Divine Key. Oh, and I forgot to mention, go out and subscribe to YouTube and hit that bell so that you're notified. That's where all my updates, all classes, everything's going to be posted on YouTube. I'll see you there. Thanks. Be well. Bye.